Alright, so first thing that we're going to do is we know that it needs new spark plug wire, so we have to take the whole motor out to do that. I'm going to do take the motor out, take the tank off, and take the seat off, just so I can get to all this, because all the electrical looks pretty garbage too. So to get the motor off, the first thing that I'm going to do is alright, so to take the motor off, there's three nuts and bolts. There's one here, and one right under the swing arm. You need to take the clutch cable, or the clutch cable, and the fuel line, which this one is broken, so that works out perfectly for us. And the air cleaner is attached too, so you gotta do the air cleaner, this cable that's attached right here, the fuel line. You also start by taking the exhaust off. You have to take these pegs off right here. So the skid plate, the pegs, this brake lever is easier if it's off, but I can do it without it. The exhaust, all of those bolts, all of this, and then we're gonna take the tank and the seat off too, which is just some bolts under the seat. So I'll go ahead and do a time lapse of that and go from there. So I start by taking the 10mm bolts off of the exhaust, and there's a 14 or two 14s that are under, pull the exhaust off. Next is the foot pegs. Usually there's four 14mm or 9/16 bolts. This one was missing one, two of them were 13s and one was a 14. Now I'm taking the clutch cable. I removed it from the handle because it's just easier. Removing all of the connections around the air cleaner, and then also removing the manifold in the carburetor and the air cleaner mounts. Now I'm doing the 3 bolts and nuts. I broke the middle one off, and the last one was not the same size as the others like it should have been, so somebody's had this motor out before. I think it was like a 12 or something like that, which it shouldn't have been. Now I'm trying to get the gear, the drive gear cover off, because the bolts were stripped out on it, or the screws were stripped out on it. I'm using a hammer and a impact to get that off. Now taking the drive gear off, so we take the chain off, and going to go ahead and pop all the little bolts out, and be able to pull the motor all the way out like that. Then there's two 10mm bolts that are under the seat, just in the back, and that takes off. Then there's just one bolt right there on the back, and then you have to make sure you get the crossover fuel line from under there. All right, so we got the motor off. I went ahead and cleaned it, degreased it real well, just with a brush, like a paintbrush and degreaser and water. Got the old coil off. You can see they cut the end of it where the spark plug wire was. Got a new one from eBay. Like I've said in the video that's in the card right here and right now, the eBay ones, the one that's supposed to go to the green wire is the one that's white and black. They don't do this right colors when they do that, and this is in the wrong spot, but it will work. I've done it on like my CL90. I did it on that one. So we'll go ahead and put it all back together. Once the carburetor comes in, we'll put it all back together and put it back on the bike. So I went ahead and put it all back together. There's a whole bunch of electrical stuff that was wrong that I put a picture up right now of this. These connectors were it was just somebody went really excited with a soldering iron and didn't do anything else. Got it on, got everything hooked up, had a leaking petcock, had a few other things in the fuel system, got it to start and run, but then I hooked the chain up, and there's something wrong with the transmission portion of it. There's no neutral. There's a few other issues with it. So I'm debating on whether to pull apart that and fix it, or just do a 125 swap from that pit bike right there. So I'm still trying to decide whether I'm going to do that or not, and go from there. But you know, it showed basically I had to take out the motor of this for any information. But we'll go ahead and make another video depending on what I decide to do with this. But it's still going to be a driving bike when I'm done. It's just how I get there. So we'll go from there.